That was a nice move by Pipkins, taking it right to the rack himself. Wide open three, left wing. That was a nice move by Pipkins, taking it right to the rack himself. Wide open three, left wing, and it's good. Nylon, the dunk likes that, Matt.
A three from the right side, and it's good! The one, Pipkins, the man, yet again.
Hello and welcome to The Flex. I'm Matt St. Jean, joined always by Joe Howie, and we have a special guest with us today, the one and only Captain Xavier. Welcome to the show.
What's up, fellas? Appreciate you having me.
This should be a good time welcoming on, we're bringing in the enemy in for this show. The Friars take on the Musketeers this Saturday. Got a few questions for you so our listeners can know what's going on with Xavier basketball. The first thing, the big one, what's changed from last season is what's different about this Xavier team?
Yeah, sure. I mean, off the bat, there's 7 newcomers. Obviously, you lost Najee Marshall, Quentin Good, and Tyreek Jones. 3 players who were, really a big part of the identity the last couple of years. It's really a brand new roster, a brand new look, and a brand new feel. And everyone's stepping into new roles. And also Zach Fremantle's a thing. But mostly it's just a whole new roster, a whole new group. It's a different identity. We just made the most 3-pointers in school history last night. And last year we'd be lucky to get 3. So it's definitely a different roster this year for sure.
Yeah, that was a wild ride, that game last night.
Nate Johnson wasn't afraid, man. Nate Johnson was not afraid to shoot the ball.
No, not at all. I didn't know he was supposed to be that good coming in from Gardner Webb.
I don't even think Gardner Webb knew. So I think we're all a little surprised right now.
Whatever works. I think one of the things we've noticed is that Xavier's been kind of inconsistent so far this year. You've got a blowout win over Oklahoma, and then earlier in the season, Eastern Kentucky takes you to overtime at home. Yeah. Do you have any explanation for this? Or are you guys just figuring it out?
I think it's a lot. I think there's a lot of things there. Xavier's playing a ton of games. Like, I think Coach Steele's mentality was, let's just play a bunch of games, get a bunch of wins, and let's just go into conference play, getting games out of the way. Because you know how it is. 13's the magic number. So I think he was like, let's get games in. That way, worst case scenario, we're good to go. We played 3 games in 3 days, all at noon, which is a weird time to start the season. I think they were ready to go for Oakland and then just kind of gassed. And at the time, we were missing 3 of our players that we have now that we got for the crosstown shootout. That's Colby Jones, C.J. Wilcher, and Adam Kunkel just got his waiver. So we had 7 dudes, 1 wing/guard to bring off the bench for those games. And we played, I think, 5 games in like 9 days or whatever the heck it was. So I think our guys were gassed. One, you could definitely tell like 2 of the games they were a little slow, and EKU pressed us the entire game. But I'm with you on the inconsistency, and I've gotten in trouble for it, just being a little negative. Like, guys, we beat EKU in overtime at home. You know what I mean? Like, we got to be better than that. But I think that's a lot of it. So we've had those 3 guys back in the last 2 games. We won the shootout, and then we won big against Oklahoma. So it's a young group. Everyone's stepping into new roles, and I think there's going to be some inconsistency and bumps. But I think that's what you're seeing right now.
Yeah, you're 7-0. Can't complain about that. But 101 points opening day. The next day, 51. Then 76. It's all over the place.
I know. Yeah, they're definitely keeping us on our toes, man. Hasn't helped my blood pressure, that's for sure.
No, I bet not. I'll bring in Joe for this one. I kind of have a fun question for both of you. You've got Xavier in Cincinnati, the crosstown shootout. The other hand, you've got PCURI not playing this year. But these are 2 big non-conference rivalries. Joe, I'll let you get the first word on this one. Which do you think is more fun or a bigger deal?
Well, this is a biased answer. You know what I'm going to say here.
Oh,
I think the PCURI rivalry is a bigger deal. And I think Ed Cooley knows that, and that's why he's trying to brush it off, because the more he brushes this off and says that it's nothing, the more and more the kids in Kingston get enraged. Every time Ed Cooley says, "Oh yeah, it doesn't matter," you see these URI accounts go up in flames on Twitter. And at the same time, I kind of agree with Ed. Like, why would we play them when it could just result in a bad loss for us that, like, is a blemish on the resume? And for URI, it's like the freaking Super Bowl. Like, PC comes to town, they pack out their stadium, which, by the way, does not get packed night in and night out. But after the Fairleigh Dickinson game, all these reporters were like, "What about URI?" He's like, "We just played FDU. Enough about URI."
Now, you saw Xavier was able to beat Cincinnati, kind of a close one at Cincinnati. What are your thoughts on this rivalry and on that game?
Oh, dude, it's wild. even like without fans, I mean, it's been nonstop fighting like since the game happened. Like it's literally 365 days a year, man. Like I wish I could have seen it there. Like, oh my god, dude, it's so fun. It's wild, dude. I've seen beer thrown at people. I mean, when I was a little kid, my first shootout, this dude jumped down like 5 rows of bleachers to jump on this other guy for saying he didn't make any money. Yeah, dude, it's a good time, dude. It's super fun and pretty damn hostile. Pretty doggone hostile, excuse me. You can take him out of the Navy, but you can't take the sailor out of him.
No, you can't.
It's wild, but it's fun watching you guys though with the Providence URI stuff, because it just feels like the same kind of deal. And I remember playing URI so in the A10 days, so it's fun.
Yeah, you guys have a little bit of that history too, and it's these local rivalries. That's what makes college basketball what it is, man.
I love it, dude. I love the juice. Like I low-key miss playing Dayton, man. Like I think that, and I think we're above Dayton at this point, but I just love the rivalries. I think it's so good for college basketball.
It really is. And I don't think there's any rivalries really better than the conference rivalries. Xavier's been in the Big East for a while now. Cap, do you have any favorite moments from any of these Providence-Xavier games? Anything that stands out to you?
Yeah, man. I know that Providence loves sending us that video of the the Big East semifinal with the huge comeback. I've seen that video. I'm not even kidding you, like 100 times. And that might be on the low side. I think for me, it's one year we came into the dunk, and obviously this, I'm sure you guys aren't going to love this. I think there was like 15 seconds left. I think the game was tied or whatever. Maybe we were up 2. And Coach Mack wanted a timeout, and the first pass was to JP McCura, and from NBA range, he just launches one, while Coach Mack was trying to call a timeout, and it iced the game, and he drained it. That's probably my favorite Providence moment. And luckily I was on. Luckily I wasn't able to watch the comeback in the semis. So out of sight, out of mind. In my mind, it didn't even happen. Just like this year's DePaul loss. So it's all good to me.
We were Joe. I don't know if you were there for it, but I know I was there for that comeback in the semifinals. I was on the mic for that game, and that was one of the wildest games. I don't know how much you remember about that tournament, but the Friars went to 3 straight overtime games and were down by double digits in all 3 of them, and came a shot at the end of regulation away from beating Villanova for the Big East championship the next night.
Matt, I was there. I mean, this was before my days on the mic, but I was there, and I almost threw up at that Xavier game. I was just, and I was completely like unfazed by anything, sitting with my dad and my brother, almost threw up just from the anxiety of, who was it? I think it was Cartwright took that charge, and Rodney Bullock had that block at the end of regulation. I thought they called a foul on him. I was like, that's it. Rodney just blew the game for us. But nope. And that was a great Big East tournament. 3 OTs in a row.
That was so
and
good.
By the way, a little shout out to Coach K, Duke, the ACC, all those other, quote unquote Power 5 basketball programs. That Big East tournament was the highest rating college basketball conference tournament of the year, and it beat the following year's ratings. So keep telling me the Big East is not a power conference.
Who's saying that though? Like, I just don't think that's even like a thing.
ESPN.
It is, yeah, ESPN.
They just want to box us out because we're on Fox Sports though. Like,
oh yeah, we've been talking about all year long how all of a sudden, now that UConn's back in the conference, they love the Big East again.
I know, dude. And UConn like has sucked. Like I know their name, but like they've not been good at all the last like 5 years. Like I understand they have a ceiling, and I know you guys probably have UConn thoughts more than I do. But it's just so weird. Like all they are is a name. Like it's like Georgetown. Like they're just a name. Like they don't really mean anything anymore.
Well, they got Dan Hurley, who's the old URI guy now.
So I'm interested to hear that dynamic. There's just so many, like, it's such a love triangle. Like, it's such a weird thing there with you guys and URI and Dan Hurley and then him going to UConn. Like, I'm interested to hear your thoughts on that. But it's just, I love it, dude. It's the best.
It's going to be a fun rivalry this season. UConn is on pause right now. And if they come back, it looks like their first Big East game back is going to be at Providence. So
are you serious? That's incredible.
Yeah, that would be a lot of fun. But let's not.
They're going to give us COVID.
Do you hate Dan Hurley, guys? Like, what does Providence think about Dan Hurley?
Joe, I'll let you take this one.
Personally, I don't like him. If I'm looking at it objectively, I think he's done some good things for URI, and I think he has UConn back on the rise. But that's an unbiased standpoint. Personally, I don't really like him. I don't think he's the classiest coach in the world. And the narrative that ESPN has surfaced is that Dan Hurley is the new Dave Gavitt, and he's going to bring the Big East back to relevancy.
Okay.
One, he coached at URI. Like, they're acting like he stepped down from North Carolina or Kansas to coach UConn. He stepped up from URI. So let's take it easy. He's not a great X's and O's guy. He can get his team hyped up, and he can get them to big. I'll give him that. But then again, they'll stink against like a low mid-major program. So I think he's wildly inconsistent. He's done some good things, but personally, not my favorite.
That's fair. He just looks like a crazy person. Like watching him on the sideline,
Oh, yeah.
like, this dude's a psycho. Like, it's just funny to watch the man, dude. Like, I'm excited for the coaching matchups though, because he's not going to make a lot of friends, as he already hasn't made a lot of friends with Kevin Willard, who just openly talked crap about him, like in the Big East media stuff. Like, I was dying at that stuff.
Oh, I love that.
That was great.
Willard's my guy. He's got a burner. Like, he's talking crap about UConn. Like, that's my kind of guy.
I think Joe and I have firmly established the dynamic that there's like 8 good Big East schools, and then Marquette, UConn, and Villanova, they can all go away.
I'm here for that.
Oh, yeah.
I'm here for that.
All right, let's talk about basketball for this Saturday. This week's game, this is Big East opener this year. So this is going to be a lot of fun. And we're going to skip our starting 5 for tonight, but we'll go off the bench, given fun facts or stats you think are important for this game. Joe, I'll let you go first.
Yeah, so my off the bench for this matchup is, well, it's kind of twofold. One, Providence and Xavier, the last time these two teams matched up, Providence gave away a first half lead at the Dunkin' Donuts Center, and it really took them to the final couple of minutes of that game at the Dunk. It wound up being a Pipkins little runner that took like 3 minutes to fall, but that's what was the difference. In this season, you've seen Providence play with leads and give them up. I think the prime example is the Davidson game. We were up, Matt, what was that, 14, 15 points, and we won that game by 1. So when you compare that to this year's Xavier team, who is shooting the lights out from 3, it makes me very, very worried for some late game situations, because if our defense is as inconsistent as it's been, I'm worried that it could come down to a last possession and someone will end it on a 3.
Yeah, Friars actually led against Davidson by 19 points, never trailed in the game, but like you said, it was a 1-point game, and Davidson blew a basket at the end that would have taken the lead with a second left in the game. So, yeah, you're spot on there. Cap, what do you think?
Off the bench, I mean, all I'm going to say is Xavier's undefeated since I've been out of the Navy, so it looks like we're by 50. Xavier's made 19 threes in a game, and I know I mentioned that before, but it'd be hard for me not to say that, like how lights out we shot. So I'm anticipating we'll make about 2 against Providence. So wouldn't surprise me if we end up losing by 15, because we're just going to expect to make 19 threes. But it's interesting to see what the shooting is going to be. I mean, Nate Johnson's been absolutely on fire. He's shooting 58% from 3 on the season, on 34 attempts. So, and he's not afraid of anything. I think Paul Scruggs has stepped into his role as the team leader. And Fremantle's been absolutely on fire too. They're going to have to play defense, though. I don't know if we're ready for the athleticism that Providence is going to bring. So I'm interested to see how we handle Nate Watson on the glass.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's quite figured out how to handle Nate Watson this season. He's got double-digit points in each game, but Xavier's offense on KenPom is ranked 23rd in the country. Providence's is at 46. So these are these 2 top 50 offenses that know how to score. Cal, come back to you. Who's the X factor for the Musketeers?
X factor, it'd be hard not to take Nate Johnson. Real quick, you know who else can't handle Nate Johnson? Or Nate Watson, I'm sorry. TikTok. But anyway.
Yeah.
No, but it's hard not to say Nate Johnson. I mean, just the way that he's shooting. Because I think we know what we have in Scruggs and Fremantle. I mean, everyone thinks that Fremantle's our best player. Even the staff would say he's our best player. Paul Scruggs has been the consummate senior. But Nate Johnson's that guy. Like, if we have a third scoring punch from Nate Johnson, we're really tough to beat. And also my honorable mention would be Kiki Tandy, just because he's either scoring like 25 points or 2. I think he has like 3 games above 20 and then 3 games below, I think 5, or below 6. So he's that kind of guy that can get smoking hot very, very quickly, or he can just be mentally checked out. So I would say Kiki Tandy or Nate Johnson.
All right. Joe, who's the X factor for the Friars?
Yeah, I think for us, I mean, it's hard not to go with Nate Watson here. If he's going to be matched up against Zach Fremantle, that's going to be really, really fun to watch. Two bigs. Nate Watson is more of a traditional big. Zach Fremantle can stretch the floor a little more. Fremantle's got a little more finesse than Nate. Nate's kind of like a big clog up the lane kind of center. I think this is going to be a fun matchup to watch. The only thing I could think of is that maybe Ed Cooley will put Noah Horkler or Jimmy Nichols on Fremantle for kind of a different look. So those are my sub X factors like A and B. I don't even know what to call them, but I'd say this is going to come down to the bigs. And just a side note, I think Zach Fremantle got completely slept on by the committee that decided first team All Big East. He should definitely be on that. I mean, right now, if you put Zach Fremantle and Jeremiah Robinson Earl in a one-on-one, I think Fremantle takes it. So,
Ooh, we're buddies.
yeah.
And then David Duke was an absolute monster. I was able to watch some of it. Besides TCU's floor burning my eyes, like, oh my God, what was that?
I hated that.
I think it's brutal. But David Duke played his tail off. My goodness.
Yeah, he's starting to get that NBA draft hype. But I do think I like looking at a battle of the Nates here. Nate Johnson against Nate Watson. It's a Nate off.
I'm here for it. Can't beat that.
Let's just see how many times the announcers confuse the two Nates, because that happens all the time.
I've done it on our own podcast, and I have no reason to like. I mean, I watch you guys play, but I'm obviously not a huge Providence guy. But I've done it multiple times, like calling Nate Johnson Nate Watson, and likewise, it's crazy.
Oh my goodness, I love this. Cap, who's been in the starting lineup for Xavier so far this year?
Sure. They've actually rolled the same starting lineup since the beginning. We are hearing that Colby Jones, freshman that Travis Steele, I think, is going to adopt later this year. He's absolutely in love with them. He was projected to be a starter, but he had to get quarantined with, along with C.J. Wilcher in the beginning. They missed the first 4 games. But it's been Dwan Odom, our freshman point guard. He was a top 50 recruit, and they're really excited about him, but he cannot shoot at all. He's good at everything else, but he cannot shoot. Not a lick. Paul Scruggs is starting at the 2. Nate Watson, there it is. Nate Watson at the 3.
Right off the bat.
Yeah, Nate Watson's our small forward. And then Jason Carter, the senior, transfer from Ohio. He was a junior last year at the 4, who also cannot shoot. And then we've got your boy Zach Fremantle at the 5.
All right, I mean, that's a good starting lineup right there. I know Dwan Odom, I've heard really, really good things about. And Kiki Tandy coming off the bench, too. If he's your 6th man, that's pretty good. That's pretty nice.
Yeah, there's rumors right now. He's like the only guy on the roster that's apparently like not happy because he had huge anticipation. I mean, everyone coming into the season was like, it's Scruggs, Fremantle, and Tandy. So it's an interesting dynamic with him coming off the bench right now because everyone expected him to be a starter and roll and like kind of step into like a star role. So yeah, but off the bench, he's an absolute microwave. So we'll see. That's kind of interesting dynamic right now, though.
Now, Joe, we saw the Friars roll the same starting lineup for every game this season until that TCU one, subbing in Horkler for Gant at the 4. Will that continue?
Yeah, I mean, that kind of blew me away. I out of all the people, like, Horkler registered 6 minutes against FDU, so I was completely shocked that they played him. They started him over Gant, who had the best game of his career against FDU. So I'm assuming Ed is going to go with that because I think in the post-game presser, he said that he liked the energy that Greg and Jimmy brought off the bench, and I think if he's going to go for a similar look, he's going to bring those 2 guys off the bench. I think Bynum starts at the point, Duke at the 2, Reeves on the wing, Horkler at the 4, and Watson anchoring the paint. I will say I don't think Bynum's going to get a lot of minutes. I mean, he still has yet to hit a 3-pointer, and I think Allen Breed has been playing really well. I'm expecting Bynum to come off within the first 5 minutes, Breed come on, Duke move to the 1. I don't like Duke playing the 1, but he's the guy who's got to have the ball in his hands. That's just what it comes down to.
It hasn't seemed to matter where they play him this season. Nobody can stop him.
That's fair. That is completely fair. I do think if he plays off the ball, there's more opportunity for him to score than if he's trying to run the slowest offense in the country, but that's just my personal opinion.
No, I agree with you there, Joe. Let's round things out here, finish up, and I'll come back to you once again, Cap. What's your prediction? How do you think this game goes?
Yeah, I'm going to try to be unbiased here. Going into Providence is pretty scary. It always is. Are we playing at the Dunk? I don't think we are, if I'm not mistaken. Correct?
It's at Alumni Hall, which is the on-campus facility.
When was the last time you guys played there?
Before this, it was the season opener in 2017.
Okay.
I believe.
I thought you were gonna say like the 20s or something. I
No.
was like, whoa.
Well, we played
After
the
a minute.
season opener there because the Dunkin' Donuts Center was booked with Comic-Con.
Okay.
And then we before that, I don't think we played there regularly since like the 70s.
Okay, gotcha. It's cool. It's just an interesting feel. I'm interested to see how it feels. And also, talking about Horkler, super disorienting seeing him in the game. I don't think I've seen Providence with a white guy. And I don't mean to profile. But it's the first white guy I've ever seen for you guys. It's just really weird looking. But anyway, I think Providence wins in a close one. To be honest with you, I think Providence is like a little bit more of like a grown-up Xavier right now. I've been saying since the beginning of the season, I'm super impressed by Providence's roster. I also said that last year. So I guess take that what you will. But I think Providence is really going to catch on, and I love that. I just love that roster top to bottom. I think you guys are really deep, really long. I'm worried about us on the glass with Fremantle against Watson. But I think it's going to be a really, really good game, and it just depends on shooting. If we run the big shots offense, I think you guys might be in trouble. But after making 19 threes, I'm expecting a little bit of a downswing there, law of averages. So I'm going to say Providence wins 69-63.
All right, a close one, a lower scoring one there.
A little bit low scoring. I could see this being a little bit of bloodbath. I just think we got two really athletic teams going to go after it, and I could kind of see it being a little bloody in the first Big East game.
All right. Joe?
So I actually agree. I think it's going to be a little bit closer. I do think Providence is going to win, but my score prediction is 82-80 Providence. I think it's going to be a much higher scoring game. I think PC is going to take it in transition, and Xavier's just going to launch from three. So I think it's going to become late in the second half. I think it's going to come down to who can outscore who, and that's not typically Providence's style of play, but Providence is a team that plays to their opponent's levels, and if Xavier's playing like they did last night, then PC's got to catch up, and Cooley's going to do whatever it takes to get the win. So if it means we're going to have guys, specifically David Duke, launching from three, then so be it. I do think PC has the advantage on the glass, so I think the 2 points, it's going to come from a rebound and a putback by Watson or Horkler or free throws. I think it's going to remain pretty level throughout. The highest lead will maybe be 5 to 7 points.
All right. So we got two guys picking a Friars victory here. I hate to be the third picking a Friars victory because that just feels like we're jinxing the game and giving it to Xavier.
I mean, you have a Xavier fan here, so I think you're good.
I think it's going to be probably around 80 to 75 Providence is what I think. I think both teams are going to be able to score pretty well. And it's really just I think it's going to be one of those games that comes down to who has the last shot. And to be fair, I mean, Xavier, you guys have done a very good job at winning those close games. So maybe if it's a close one, we might have to lean Musketeers. Travis Steele has done a very good job in those situations. But we'll see what happens.
I just can't wait to get out there. I'm so excited for Big East play to start up, man. Can't wait. Best conference in basketball.
That it is. It's been too long since we've had actual Big East play to talk about. So it's finally here. Cap, I'll let you plug your social media or your podcast. I know you're on the Roll Blob podcast. Tell everybody where they can follow you, where they can check out your stuff.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. At CapX15 is my Twitter handle where you can find all my shenanigans. I'm on the Roll Blob podcast, so we talk college basketball, Big East. We'd like to talk about Xavier at the end, so a little something for everybody. Football, whatever you name it, we'll talk about it. And then, that's sponsored by the Broken Anchor, who's doing all the work while we just talk into microphones. So check those guys out. I really appreciate them. But thanks for having me on, guys. It was a blast. We'll have to do a home and home. You'll have to come on the Roll Blob soon.
I think we would absolutely love to do that.
Talk about a post-game X victory. I'm here for it,
Well, as always, thank you everybody for listening. Make sure to follow us on Twitter @TheFlexHoops for more content, and follow us wherever you're listening to this: Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, wherever you get your content. For Cap and Joe Owie, I'm Matt St. Jean. Joe, sign off as always.
Go Friars, and I'll give it to him a little Let's Go X.
I'm here for it. Beat the Huskies for me, guys.